kick to the Chuck shot. Hello. All right. Listen. Hello, internet family, Win with Black Women family, Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote family. Jamila and I are on here because we are in a state of emergency. I'm supposed to be doing something else. You're supposed to probably be doing something else, but we got to get on here and talk about this crisis. We are in crisis. Now, if you're watching the news, and I understand if you're not, I do. I understand if you're not watching the news because it's a mess. But I need everyone to pay attention. We need you to take emergency action. Emergency action. We need you to do it tonight if you can. Wake up in the morning and do it again. The offices of the senators are closed, but we are in a state of emergency. I know y'all are interested. Y'all are like, what's going down? Hawley, Chantel, and Jamila done jumped online. Oh, y'all already know. Well, here's the state of play. You all have seen all the horrible things that have happened. But now, for the first time since all the crazy has happened, we have an opportunity to stop the crazy in its tracks and go back to the negotiating table. And it requires us to have every single Democrat vote no on the continuing resolution. And that is part of what we're going to talk about. And then once we talk about that, I'm also going to have Chantel explain the way we need them to vote on the closure, because those two things go together. First, let's talk about this continuing resolution. I want to make sure that you all understand what is at stake. And the first thing I want you to see is I pulled this video. Thank you, interweb people, for putting great content together, because we didn't think we were going to have to be here. We thought the Democrats were going to help us out. We thought the Democrats were going to hold the line. Why? Because that's what they told us they were going to do. But unfortunately, today, Chuck Schumer done pulled a fast one on the American people. And if you are from New York, I especially need you to get on the phone and let Senator Chuck Schumer know that this is not okay, that we expect him to stand up for us and with us. If he is going to be the minority leader, then God damn it, he needs to lead. Let's see what I'm talking about.
We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. While the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse. For sure, the Republican bill is a terrible option. It is not a clean CR. It is deeply partisan. It doesn't address far too many of this country's needs. But I believe allowing Donald Trump to take even much more power via a government shutdown is a far worse option.
All right. I like, you know what? This is clapback. So you already know this crew, we come with the receipts. So I didn't want to just get on here and talk. I wanted to make sure that you saw the receipts. For those of you all joining us online, I have just dropped the Schumer's number. And especially if you are from New York, we need you to call Senator Schumer at 202-224-6542. You might get a recording. You might get a live person, but whoever you get, whether it is a recording, whether it is a live person, you let them know that this is unacceptable, that Chuck Schumer has been elected to represent our interest, and this is not in our interest. Okay, that's the first action, but I want to get Jamila and Chantel in here to tell you why this is terrible.
So
which one of us you want to start with, Hawley?
Let's start with the CR. Let's start with why the CR is bad. Because what we want you to tell people, this is a very clear message. We need you, for Chuck Schumer, the message is simply this. We need to let Chuck know that we expect him to lead the Democratic senators in a no vote. He needs to be up all night tonight, calling every senator himself and making sure that they all vote against the continuing resolution. Yes, that will mean a government shutdown, but it will also mean that we're able to stand up and to protect federal workers in the long term. But more importantly, it allows us to go back to the table and protect programs that are essential to our livelihood. It allows us to protect Medicaid. It allows us to go back to the table with Republicans and talk to them and protect Social Security. Essentially, it allows us to actually figure out how to create a compromise that will not gut all of our social programs. We're not even going to talk about education, but we might. We're not even going to talk about federal jobs, but we might. We're not even going to talk about what this is doing to our health care, but we might. So I want you to really understand what are some of the worst things that we're looking. And by the way, if you are a DC resident or you love somebody who lives in DC, this continuing resolution will cut over $1 billion out of our budget. And I want you to know those are not American tax dollars. Those are DC tax dollars that they are seeking to cut and take away from DC people. All right, let's start with the continuing resolution. Jamila, Chantel, jump in and give us some of the worst provisions that are in this continuing resolution and why we have to have people vote no.
first of all, good evening. We do have an
I'm
opportunity
all worked
to
up and you're all calm. I
you
love
know
it.
no anytime I'm quiet, worry. Um, the fact that Schumer couldn't even answer the question about, well, are you Democrats united in this decision? He completely dodged that question. Every Democrat, or everybody's voting his or her conscience or something along those lines is what he said. What that tells us is that this is some, how do we say this without swearing? This is some BS right here. The Democrats need to stand united. Let's just go to history real quick, and then I'm tag Chantel to talk about the present day. But you cannot offer a concession to someone who seeks to exploit at all turns. You do not win when you concede early. There's a whole bunch of history that shows us when you give in to, oh well, it's only Poland or Ukraine or a shutdown, you wind up empowering those who will seek to take and exploit. This is bad, and the fact that you've got, for instance, Cory Booker out of New Jersey, you know, openly speaking out against the minority leader, again in a non-swearing way. What the heck is this? Cockamamie foolishness. Um, this is bad. The one thing the Democrats have to do is hold the line. Period. The Guardians are. It's not even at the gate. They're banging on the bedroom door.
Right, right.
So I don't want to get too far away from. Let's talk about the specifics here, and I definitely want to let Chantel hop in because yeah, it's go time has been now.
Mm-hmm. Chantel?
Well, yes. Top of mind, there is the big slash to DC, but there's also cuts to a lot of other agencies. Um, it doesn't provide any additional funds for FEMA. It's going to
Hold on. We're going to break this down. FEMA.
FEMA.
I want folks to know exactly what FEMA does and why it's important. This is for all my people in California who are suffering from the wildfires. We want to make sure that we have funds to support FEMA. Fetterman is voting yes. That's what we're hearing now. Thank you, Andrea Barbara Dansbury. But listen, call him and thank him. Call him and thank him. Fetterman, John Fetterman's phone number is 224-4254. That
So
is
Fetterman,
202, I forgot the 202 part. 202-224-24. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm messing it up. I'm gonna put it in the notes. 202-224-4254. 202-224-4254. Let's make sure, Pennsylvanians, we need you. Stand up. We need you, Pennsylvania. Make sure that we are supporting Fetterman because he's been waffling.
Hawley, I'm just trying to be clear.
Okay, go ahead.
The last I saw, he was voting for the CR, which means he was going to vote yes on the cloture vote. So I'm trying to figure out, is he voting no on cloture or yes on cloture? Because see, there's two votes.
Okay, let's explain to everybody exactly what is happening.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm gonna stop interrupting you and go ahead. Tell us about. Let's make sure we are very clear on what's happening. I'm gonna be the questioner. You be the information. I'm sorry, I came in hot, y'all, because I'm pissed. Go ahead. Let's settle down. Tell us what's going on.
The bill has passed from the House. It is going over to the Senate.
This is the continuing resolution.
This is the continuing resolution
that they are using as a stopgap because they were not doing their jobs and passing a budget. So as you all may know, for the last several years, they've been surfacing what's called a continuing resolution, which is a stopgap measure to keep the government, to fund the government while they go work on budget deals. Okay.
Right. And it's formally known as HR 1968. So before the Senate passes a bill, they have to vote on it. And then to move the bill to the next level, or the resolution to the next level, or the legislation to the next level, they have to vote to end debate. Now, we usually hear about this on the other end because we hear about the filibuster. And the filibuster requires that you have 60 votes to end debate, or they can do it by consent, unanimous consent. So they're not going to get unanimous consent here. So if they're not getting unanimous consent, they need to have 60 votes. So the vote for the 60 votes is called a cloture vote. So that is where all of the senators will come in and they'll vote yes or no on to move this beyond this vote. If they get 60 senators to vote yes to end the debate, then it moves on to the floor, where the next vote is only a simple majority, which means that the Republicans do not need any Democrat senators' votes to pass it once it makes it past the cloture vote. So what we need are for the Democratic senators to vote no on the cloture vote. If Fetterman is voting yes, that's the opposite of what we need. We need him to vote no, because he's voting yes to end debate. Go ahead, Jamila, you're about to jump in. Did I see your hand?
Now, Senator Rand Paul out of Kentucky is expected to be a no vote. So Fetterman and Rand Paul may cancel each other out. which is
No, we
why
need
the
Fetterman to
Democrats
vote the right goddamn way. We ain't giving him no pass.
Right.
agreed. Speaking only mathematically at present,
Okay,
the
mathematics.
stalemate continues. So the position that Democrats felt would happen today is that Schumer would go in and sing, "You don't have the votes, ah, ha 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 ha. You don't have the votes." That's not what he did. He went in
Right.
and said, "I then, y'all probably go and get it. I then." Go ahead. And this is not the time to concede. You do not, did nobody watch? Did nobody watch any fight ever? Like, you don't just run into your opponent's offense. You don't just go, "Oh, well, he's probably, that Goliath show is big." What are you doing? There's no strategy, there's no plan here. And the fact that you've got Democrats inside the ranks also arguing this thing means that the GOP really has not got the power they have. The Democrats are indeed, as we speak right now, in a position to not allow for this cloture vote, which then again allows for the simple majority, which the GOP will likely have. So, if you like Medicaid, if you like the state not being able to seize, we won't get into assets because we're talking to people all through the country here. But there are a lot of fears of what this concessionary way of behaving will lead to. And this is just senseless. Schumer is not behaving the way most of the people who voted for Democrats would have wanted Schumer to have behaved in this instance.
I love this role reversal where I'm all agitated and worked up, and Jamila is
I
all
know.
calm and putting it together. This is
I'm
this
like,
is how you know that we are living in the upside down times. I want to say a shout out to Sakila Coles for holding it down for Win with Black Women in Pennsylvania. She is on the right side here. She is reminding us to keep calling John Fetterman. His phone number 202-224-4254, and tell him vote no on the continuing resolution. We want him to vote no on the cloture. So the cloture vote is coming up first, but the cloture vote is important because it keeps the debate on the continuing resolution alive. And this is critical. Yes, it is true. We are pushing people to choose between bad and awful. But right now, it's already bad, folks. Let's not act like it's not already bad. So more bad is going to
I was
be
going to
better
say,
than awful. But what it does, and this is the important part, if they have to talk to Democrats, now we have the ability to make some deals. Right now, if we give our power away and we don't push them to continue the debate, we literally say, we give up. Now, this requires courage. This requires courage because I'm going to be honest with y'all. Donald Trump and Musk have a war chest that is like $500 million that they are ready to deploy to get everybody who turns against them out of office. And that chest is growing. In fact, just last week, he had $1 million a plate fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. And people are lining up to basically pay to play, illegal, totally illegal, and absolutely unethical. And so what we have are a bunch of senators that are running scared. Well, it's bigger than them and it's bigger than us. And the way that you beat a bully is not by sending one person at a time. It's by bringing everybody together and pushing them down. So we need all the Democrats to be voting no.
Correct.
I'm all hyped up, y'all. I can't help myself. All right.
Well, it's worth
I
being.
want to make sure I'm reading the comments so we can be attentive to the folks that are watching. If you all are confused and you have questions, yes, that's correct. Patrice, Schumer says he's voting yes. That's the exact opposite of what we need him to do. We need him to be no. Anybody who's put out that they're voting yes, you need to be calling them. And the people who are voting yes, you need to be calling them and thanking them, because trust me, these conversations are happening right now. This is a real-time call to action. I'm sorry, Chantel, continue.
Well, I saw a couple of things where people said they're calling Schumer's office. They can't get through. So here are a couple of other things that you can do. Reach out to him on social media. He has a Twitter handle. He has a Facebook page.
Can you put it in our chat, in our comments?
Let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
Also, you can go to his his Schumer website, and he should have a contact form on his website. You can also use ResistBot, and ResistBot can help you send an email. So those are some other strategies. You can email them yourself because you can look their information up. Thank you, Sakila. She's dropping it in the chat for us. Come on, girl.
Okay. That's that way with Black women right there. Let me put that up on the screen while you talk.
Felicia, I see that Ossoff said he's a no. I need to check because I've been tagging Ossoff on social media all day. I mean, well, since I got home and saw this foolishness was going on. I came home to eat my little good dinner, and I can't even eat it because we got to rise up for battle. And so, we need to keep our foot on them. We've got to apply pressure. And so just keep calling. The actual cloture vote is scheduled for 1:15 tomorrow.
That's right.
The Senate is in session starting at 10, and the cloture vote is scheduled to begin after 1:15. Now keep calling Ossoff. Keep
calling Ossoff, and I'm gonna give you his number right now.
Because I'll just tell y'all this: until the vote is actually cast, don't take nobody's word for it. We need to call everybody.
Yep. And we got Ossoff's number. Look, y'all asked what the number is. We got the number. Look, I got the numbers right here in real time. So I'm about to call them all off. So John Ossoff, your butt is up for reelection, brother. And if you want the people to really be talking to you, and you want the people to really be showing up, then I'm gonna need you to stay steady. And in fact, don't just stay steady, lead the damn charge. 202-224-3521 is John Ossoff. 202-224-3521. And even with Ossoff, you can go Google John Ossoff, go to his Senate page. There's a contact button. Hit the contact button and send him a contact. Call his district office. I'm giving you his DC office, but if you can't get in, and listen, some of these people are chicken shit. I'm gonna just call it out. And they're gonna try to take their phones off the hook because they don't want to hear from you. Well, guess what? It's more than one way to call their asses out, and I want y'all to use as many of them as you can.
And I'm gonna say this: I see y'all dropping the stuff in the chat about Ossoff. You see what's on my chest, baby? I already know. No. Keep calling brother Ossoff. I actually like John. I like both my Georgia senators. But you know what? I'm gonna need y'all to come correct, because as a sister who has gotten up and drove my little car all around Georgia, have walked all these blocks, have stayed up all night, calling voters, writing voters, doing it to help get y'all two asses elected. Y'all better be voting on the right side. Ain't nobody got time for this. We are
Amen.
tired. I went into Act Blue and canceled my damn recurring donations.
Look at there.
The
Look at
only
there.
donation I have not canceled, I got 2 still. I got one to my local county party that I kept. I got one more to the Congressional Black PAC, the Congressional Black Caucus PAC. And I'm sitting on the fence about canceling that one.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. I try to help my people, but my little coins is precious. And I am tired of spending them on folks who want to act like they ain't got no damn sense.
All right, now come on, get some fire in the belly, Chantel. Come to the
I'm
dark
just,
side
I'm
with me.
tired.
We gonna let Jamila stay on the reasonable side. We'll be over
I
here
am
fighting shit up.
tired.
Yeah,
I'm tired of this foolishness. We
listen.
didn't, you know what? And I said on our go to our episode of the clapback because we talked about him a little bit also. But
Absolutely.
one of the things I said in our last episode was we truly didn't elect warriors. We elect smart folks, but I expect them to have some spine.
Yeah.
You know what? If y'all gonna act like this, just go on home.
Listen.
Because clearly, if the Republicans can go and put together a whole budget and don't call you, don't ask you for nothing, don't tell you to look at nothing until they want you to pass it, and ain't ask you to contribute nothing to it, hell, you might as well just be a Republican. Just go on and pass it.
Might as
Because
well.
there is no difference. You are supposed to be the opposition. You should be fighting for things that we need. There is nothing in that budget that helps me. There's nothing in that budget that helps my community. There is nothing in that budget that helps my mama, my sister, my auntie, none of my girls, nobody. And I got an expansive community. So if you ain't doing that, what you up there for?
Listen,
Have some
I want to
spine.
I shout out to Ia Sante, right? She said, tell the people we won't be there for Democrats who don't fight this administration. Literally, that's what we exactly need you to do. That's what we sent you up there to do. Now, we understand that everybody who we elected, they are policymakers. We want them to be policymakers. They are smart people. We do appreciate their intelligence. But I'm with you, Chantel. It's time for some backbone. It's time for us to stand up. Now, let's talk about some other senators, and I want to get back into some of the things that are at stake. So other senators that we are hearing need a little backbone. And I want and let me just say this blanketly. We need to make sure that you are calling every senator. We really don't need to let folks off. We're highlighting a few here tonight, but wherever you live, call your senator. If they are voting no, and if the people, when you pick up the phone and the people say we're voting no, then I want you to thank them and appreciate them and let them know that you got their back. That is just as important as calling the people and cussing them the hell out. Maybe some of y'all won't cuss. That's what I'm about to be doing. I know both of my senators from Missouri is acting a goddamn fool, and they are going to hear from me for sure. I'm going to be up early in the morning because I know I'm going to have to call a few times to get in. Tonight, when I get off this live, I'm going to be sending them an email from their page, and I want them to know this is not okay. It is not okay. And don't fall for the bullshit. Jamila, I see you want to get in here. I'm gonna step back.
Yeah, so this is not a crisis. This is not a crisis that occurs naturally. This is the GOP, who have all branches of government, mind you, saying we are going to shut the government down unless we are granted this particular appeasement. You know, they're threatening this. The Democrats are in a position to say, all right, then, y'all do that. You don't have the votes to make it happen. Let everybody see what you would intend to do. Rather than allowing that process to play out, because again, the Democrats have on the table a 30-day extension to figure this out longer, and everybody can just say, all right, the term for, forgive me, that's the wrong word. The deadline for this budget is Friday night, 11:59. Fine, we'll just, all in favor of giving us 30 more days, and it could be done. That's all it takes. This is the GOP wanting a fight, wanting a declarative victory. They want to plant at least the tip of that flag.
Yeah.
And the Democrats saying, oh, well, and that's not fair to say. It's not the Democrats. It's Schumer who's the minority leader. So he is purported to speak for the minority, but the minority is actively divided against Schumer. They are all not saying, oh, let's give in to the GOP. There are, there are some folks who very much do want this to be brought to the light of day. Let everybody listen. The GOP is on their heels as we speak. They have canceled and are continuing to cancel their town halls. They're people are getting up in their faces. I voted for you. I'm a veteran. I voted for you. I believed you. Or I didn't vote for you. And this is why. And I'm going to, we're hearing people already say, I can't wait to run against you. I can't wait to vote for your opposition. The GOP is not this solid monolith that is this impenetrable fortress. There are cracks all over, and Schumer standing in front of one of these cracks going, that Goliath looked mighty big. All I got is this sling and some stones.
That's right.
I do not understand it.
Yeah, I want to get to this question because IC has just joined us. Hi, IC. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. And by the way, we are broadcasting on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. You can find us at either Win with Black Women or Sisters Lead Sisters Vote. Tell your friends if people are talking about this around the dinner table from coast to coast, no matter what state you're in. This impacts you. Come on, join us. We're going to be on for just a little bit, making sure that you understand and making sure that you act and let the folks know how critical and important this is. So the question, could it pass without the 60%? So Chantel, I'm going to kick that to you to re-explain why the 60 votes is important.
Oops, sorry, I muted myself. No, it needs 60 votes, or it would have to be, they would have to consent for it to pass. So it's one or the other.
Yep.
So that's where we are. That's why, that cloture vote, which is called also known as the filibuster, that has been the thing that has killed a lot of Democratic legislation that we have wanted to get passed.
When we were in the majority.
When we were in the majority. So all of the voting rights bills, that was killed by the cloture vote.
Yeah.
There's some other, I'm sorry, I'm so mad tonight. I can't even remember. But, and Michi, what we want to say to what we want you to say to your senators is vote no. Vote no on the cloture vote. Vote no on the cloture vote, because that's all we need right now is vote no on the cloture vote. That will shut it down.
The voting no on the cloture forces them to go back to the negotiating table on the continuing resolution agreement. Because what it is whenever there's a financial component, it requires a 60 vote. It's a super majority vote. If they waive their right to the supermajority, then they can pass this with a simple majority. And because of the way that Congress sits Dems to Republicans, they have a simple majority. Remember, A lot of the bills that we were able to pass under the Biden administration happened because we had Kamala Harris sitting in the vice president's chair, and she was able to pass a lot of that fantastic and groundbreaking legislation by breaking the tie, i.e., moving it to a simple vote. That's what we don't want to happen now. Bill number 1968, HR bill number 1968. I want to, hey, shout out to all my Missourians. Yeah, we used to be the show me state. Now we the roll over and kick us in the butt state while we down. And when we really need your help and support, you are voting to take away our services. So one of my favorite targets, Josh Hawley, Hawley, call his ass if you are from Missouri. His number is 202. Do not let his ass off the hook. 202-224-6154. All my fellow Missourians, we know this is not how we want to live. And by the way, Missouri is one of the states, particularly if you live on the Kansas City side, that has lost nearly 70,000 people's jobs who work for the federal government. These kinds of moves are just the pathway to make it even worse. Now, I do want to say this. I know, and some of you may be federal workers. I've talked to a lot of federal workers who have talked about this, and I've asked them, and I've particularly have talked to folks represented by AFGE or AFSCME, and I'm going to tell you what. First and foremost, yes, if the government shuts down, they will be without pay. However, they will be entitled to back pay. So it's not as though they lose money altogether, but they will have a short-term hardship. But let me just tell you right now, if you're a federal worker, you're living in hell anyway, because you don't know if you're going to have a job today, tomorrow. They fire you, they call you back. They make you sign contracts that waive your rights to your job, and then they tell you that the sky is going to be green, and it turns out it's blue all along. So trust me when I tell you, folks that work for federal services want to make sure that we are passing budgets that are fair. So understand that this federal worker, look at here, come on now. This federal worker wants to shut down. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And they are not alone. We can't be pushing Democrats into Congress and into the Senate, and all they're going to do is roll over. Yes, Hawley is trifling. Is roll over and vote with the Republicans. Okay, I want to show you what courage looks like. Where my Delaware people at? Delaware this year sent freshman Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester to the Senate, and I want y'all to know where she stands. This is what courage looks like.
Delaware, I'm voting no on this Republican funding bill. You've all heard me say, let me be blunt. Well, let me be blunt. I don't want a government shutdown. Never have. But the reality is Republicans, they control the House, they control the Senate, and they control the White House. They were the ones that walked away from the negotiating table. What did we ask for? We were this close on a deal. But what instead happened? They said they were going to put forward a clean bill, but what we got was a dirty deal instead. This bill actually gives more power to Elon Musk and President Trump. And they've already proven that instead of governing responsibly, they've been reckless, causing chaos, confusion. They've actually been shutting down government agency by agency already. What this is about is cutting Medicaid, slashing Medicare and Social Security, and giving tax breaks to ultra-rich people, but not lowering the cost of any goods for you. So Delaware, I won't vote to give away your voice. I'm voting to make sure that that person who texted me this morning about her Medicaid being cut off, that she doesn't have to be afraid. I'm voting to make sure that my friend who works at the VA and who is serving veterans right now, and all of those veterans who work at the VA, know that we're standing up for them. I'm voting no to make sure that we save our democracy.
Now, come on now, Lisa Blunt Rochester. Come on now. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Shout out to Asante. Right. Call the New Jersey senators too. That's right. Cory Booker, he needs to hear from you. Senator Kim needs to hear from you. We got their numbers up for you, making sure you know what's real, what's not. Every single senator needs to hear from you. Whatever state you're in, whether they are voting no or yes. If they're voting no, you need to make sure here's your message if they're voting no. Thank you. I got your back. Thank you for having mine. Thank you for voting no on HR 1968. I got your back, and thank you for having mine. They need to hear from us. They need to know that we appreciate the courage that it takes to stand up, because these people are vile. We also need to not let them change the narrative, as Senator Blunt Rochester suggested. They're already putting out messages that say it's Democrats that are threatening to take your benefits away by shutting down the government. Bullshit. That is not what is happening. What is happening is that we need Democrats to stand up so that we might have a little short-term pain for some long-term gain. And we are coming for you. This midterm election is got everything on the line. I know we said that in 2024, but we didn't know he's going to be here in 2025. And I know folks are saying, but we knew what Trump was going to do. Yes, but what we didn't expect him to do that's different, we didn't expect him to actually blatantly break the freaking law and exceed the bounds of his authority. We haven't had an American president in our lifetime, not in my lifetime, I'm 54, to be able to that did this outrageously. They are breaking the law openly and without and they yeah, oh my God. But we have one opportunity to stop them. And that opportunity is now. So between now and what time is the vote tomorrow? 1:15 tomorrow.
1:15.
We need you to act. Okay, I promised y'all. Y'all have been, thank you for rocking with us, by the way. I know this is late. It's 10:30 here. We've got over 300 some people watching, and more. I'm sure we'll see this. You all are the front lines. What you're doing is so important. Please, 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 not only call for yourselves, pass the number, the email numbers, the websites to all of your friends. Text them tonight and say, call with me in the morning. Text them tonight and say, send an email tonight. Let folks know that how important this is. We need every single senator to be contacted. And let's talk about why. And we started with FEMA. FEMA is on the line. What else is on the line?
Oh, girl.
Took you back now, girl. Look, when are you looking? See what Chantel is over there emailing her senators in real time, because I didn't got her worked up now.
Well, you know what? I just found a site that has like all of the senators' handles.
Oh, wonderful. Drop the site.
I've been trying. It won't let me.
Oh, okay. Well, send it to me and I'll drop it.
Okay. I'm gonna send it to you. But it has like all of this.
Oh, contact information for North Carolina. I'm sorry, continue. I'm gonna pull up North Carolina. Okay, North Carolina, Ted Budd, a Republican, 202-224-3154. Ted Budd, 202-224-3154. And then the other one, I can't remember his name, from North Carolina. He's new, I think. Okay, keep talking. I'll find the other one.
You go first, Chantel. Okay, well, you know what?
I was just going to say that one of the things that's in this continuing resolution is, you may not know, there are some grants that the federal government gives to states around election security. So this would eliminate up to $40 million of that election security grant funding. It's also going to trim and cut down some assistance for farmers and conservation activities. They're going to cut that about $30 million. I don't know if you know anybody who lives in rural areas where they may not have as much access to broadband. They're going to cut that rural broadband program. They're going to cut nearly $800 million from the Veterans Affairs Facility construction. They're going to cut, they're cutting a whole lot of stuff. And if they're cutting like they've let the doggy man cut, they just cutting to be cutting. They also keep saying that they are not going to cut Medicaid. They gonna cut Medicaid, y'all. I don't know why y'all want to believe them lies. They gonna cut it. They've been telling us they're going to cut it. And if you believe they're not
Yes.
going to cut it, you probably somebody who didn't believe they was going to do the stuff in Project 2025 either. Even though we told y'all they were going to do the stuff in Project 2025. All of this stuff is in Project 2025. All of it. All of it. We told
Listen,
y'all.
shout out to our unofficial co-host, Win with Black Women Lead, Sakila Coles in Pennsylvania. She's saying, hey, you can't remember all these damn numbers. Just call the switchboard. The switchboard number is 202-224-3121. Also, we have scrolling Tom Tillis. I don't know why I couldn't remember his dumb ass, because honestly, I've been on him for a minute. And by the way, he's up for reelection, y'all. So really call his ass and let him know we are watching. And let me tell you, he's in real jeopardy because North Carolina got way too many Black people. And we are ready to go. You're welcome, Sakayla. I love you. Because let me tell you something about Win with Black Women. We ain't playing, y'all. We ain't playing. We is not playing. Oh, by the way, I see Prophetess Desiree is on here as well. Look at that. I just love y'all. My Win with Black Women family. Yay.
Let me see if I can post this.
All right. Go ahead.
Yay. I finally got something to post.
You did it.
Yes. Go ahead, Jamila. I'm sorry.
I want to take us up north for a minute.
Let's go north.
Let's go north. I grew up in Pittsburgh, and the law when I was in school, it was when you learned French, you learned with the Quebecois accent. And, I want to talk about our Canadian friends for a minute because I think they're giving some examples of how to act in unison, if that's what they so desire. So, the tariffs that are proposed for them. The fact that this current administration repeatedly tells people that kind of don't even like, they're like, we are not Canadian, we are Quebecois. The fact that like they've got that going on, and you have this current administration calling their prime minister Governor Trudeau. Um, the fact that you're having that level of international disrespect, the Canadians are not coming to the U.S. They are labeling their products made in Canada, so that folks are not buying American products. They are actively and continually, working in unison with one another to be like, this is what we have, this is what we can do. We are not trying to be the 51st state. We don't want to be the 51st state. Less than 10% of us want that. And every chance they get to make that known, they do. So while I bring them up because, hey, Canada, but also, I now live in Pennsylvania. I've been a DC resident, half my life. And sometimes it's hard to know what to say when calling senators because when I was in DC, I wasn't a constituent. But one of the things that I did do, and some of the Canadians are doing this, is they're calling up and saying, I run blah, blah, blah group. We were going to come to your state, and if you check the records, we spend X number of dollars in your state. We don't like that you're telling us that we have to be the 51st state. We're going to do our conference on Zoom. Thank you very much. You've just lost this from us. We don't know if we'll ever be back. So while I might live in Pennsylvania now, I certainly know that there's a group, I'm responsible for some of the travel, that's absolutely going to be like, hey, North Carolina, you like when we come and spend money there? This is what you need to be aware of. So don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be reluctant to reach out if you are not a voting constituent of a place. If indeed, you have something that they want, your commerce, your travel, your enterprise with them. They hear that too. So but I ask you too, Holly and Chantel. I have just dialed the switchboard, and I am not quite sure what I say when I get to Tillis's office. I say, "Hi, I'm Jamila, and I want to tell the senator." What do I say?
I want to tell the senator, first of all, if uh, you are a resident of the state of the senator that you are calling, be sure to say that. So
Yeah.
start with, for instance, I'm going to call Josh Hawley because he's an ass. Hello,
Mm.
this is Holly Holiday. I'm a resident in the state of Missouri, and I am calling to let Senator Hawley know that I am looking for him to vote no on the closure, that I expect him to go back to the negotiating table and come up with a real clean CR. Come up with a deal that is inclusive of all American people and not just some. Let's make sure, let's make sure that we are voting for the programs that help America. So you can add the rest. You can add a personal story about how important your Medicaid is. You can add a personal story about how important it is for you to make sure that there's funding to education. You can add a story about the environment or whatever it is that you think is important, childcare, taxes, all the things. But start the conversation with your name, with the fact that you are a resident of the state, and that you're voting to tell him that you want him to vote no on the closure and the continuing resolution. That is what we're asking. That is a simple message. If you choose to add a story, add a story. But it can truly be a 20-second conversation. In fact, don't even have a conversation. Just tell them to listen. Your name, the fact that you're a resident and a voter in the state, and that you are expecting them to vote no. That's enough. That right there is enough.
Good.
It's a real simple message. I want to share with you a couple
Sally,
of
before you move on, I
yeah.
just wanted to add that if your senator is up for reelection in 2026, you might want to remind them of that. So Mark Warner in Virginia is up for
Oh,
election.
how did we not have Mark Warner? Yes, let me find his number right now.
Cory
Oh,
Booker
his ass.
is up for reelection in 2026. Ed Markey in Massachusetts. Dick Durbin in Illinois.
Dick Durbin, I heard a rumor today he might retire.
Girl, I heard that too. Already looking for a replacement. Already looking, girl.
Come on, Black women. Hold on, before you go further, let me give Mark Warner's number. If you are a Virginia resident, please call Mark Warner. He has been on the waffle list a few times. He comes on, he comes off. I'm not quite sure. Oh, thank you, Divinely Made. She just left a message for Tillis and Bud. I love it. Thank you so much. If you're calling for Mark Warner, that phone number is 202-224-2023 is 202-224-2023. Tell us who else is up for re-election. Continue that list.
Senator Lejeune in New Mexico, and also Ossoff in Georgia. Now, I don't want to let these other folks off the hook
Absolutely not.
because they have announced that they are retiring and they're not going to be seeking reelection. So we
I don't
have
care.
Senator Shaheen, you need to call her.
Mm-hmm.
Get Senator Peters and Senator Tina Smith over in Minnesota and out there in Michigan, Brother Peters. Go ahead and let those folks know that on their way out the door, we understand they're on their way out the door.
Hey, all the more reason for them to stand up and do something brave.
Right. So
stand up and do something brave. Yes, Miss Tunes. I hate to tell you, but Senator Chuck Schumer has come out in favor of the Republican CR. Disgraceful. Disgraceful.
Right.
And I tell you, let that fool cast that vote. I'm gonna be on Chuck Schumer's ass. He gonna be like my number one pinup boy. He gonna be right there. It's gonna be Trump, the muskrat, and Schumer. I'm gonna be dragging them from here to the midterms and beyond. Because this shit is crazy. So yes, I can't believe it either. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. On to the next one. Dr. Johnson just sent an email to Chuck Schumer. So appreciate you. We really need you, New Yorkers, but the rest of the people are not off the table. Call, write, send a smoke signal, meaning go on your social media, tag them, let them know this is unacceptable. Oh, go ahead, prophetess. Look here, I'm gonna put her thing up. Here's a script right here. Hello, Congresswoman or man. My name is, fill in your name. I'm calling in reference to the budget. I'm demanding you stand on the front line and vote no to this life-threatening budget. This will buy us some time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Desiree, that's an organizer right there. She will organize you anywhere you think you want to be. She gonna show up and organize you and get you to do something. I really, 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 really appreciate you. I want to give you all a couple of things because the other thing, this is a clapback. So another thing that we want to do here, one, set the record straight, and two, we want to make sure that you are leaving here with factual information. And some of this stuff is foolish out here. So first thing I want to talk about is MAGA. Let me just tell you something. We don't even have Republicans anymore. The Republicans have succeeded their rights and their responsibilities to the freaking MAGAs. It's MAGAs and Democrats. That's it. Republicans are gone. That's over. Ain't no Republicans. And they're all scared shitless of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. That should not be our problem. We need them to stand up for the American people. MAGA Republicans are forcing this shutdown. They want to say it's Democrats. It is not. MAGA Republicans are forcing the shutdown to support what they call a, quote, clean CR. But understand that their bill is an extreme proposal that demands radical changes and green lights extreme cuts in exchange for keeping the government open. So it's like this. They say, oh, you don't want us to cut you on your arm, so therefore keep the government open so we can stab you in the chest. That's pretty much what we're looking at. Don't let them stab us in the chest. We can heal from a scratch on the arm. They get us in the chest. They might be gutting us for a long time. At the same time, you got Trump arguing to the House Freedom Caucus that in order to get them to vote for his bill, that this CR will empower Trump and Musk to cut more. Like we need that. Republicans ultimately would set a disturbing new precedent. The two choices before the Democrat are not equally bad. That's the other thing. And this is a narrative that Democrats have started to say. They've started to say that voting yes for the closure, the same vote as voting no. So why not keep the government open? Because then you get a positive outcome. Bullshit. These things are not the same. One option would divide Democrats, making it harder for senators to get their message out. It would require Democrats to have a stake in the game. You either are empowered or your ass is sitting on the sideline. And I don't know about you, but ever since my people been free, we are not willingly voting to sit our asses down. We're going to stay in the fight as long as it is allowed for us to be in the fight. And when it's not allowed, we're going to fight to get back in. So understand, these two choices are not the same. Think of it like this. I'll use this metaphor again. One vote, the closure, is voting to get a cut on the arm. A yes vote is voting to get stabbed in the heart. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, them is two radically different things. And I'm going to vote to get sliced on the arm every fucking time. All right. I also want to share, wait a minute. Do I have something else to share? Let's go. All right. So we know what we're voting for. We know why we're voting for it. I need y'all to help us get the word out. We got nearly 300 folks on the line. We've been talking to y'all now for just about an hour, just over an hour. I am intending to come back on tomorrow morning for the folks that are not late night people. I'll try to have some other folks with me, but if not, we'll just do a quick hit. I know Chantel, you're busy, but maybe Jamila, you can pop on. We're going to continue to get this word out until 1:15 tomorrow. We need you all to be vigilant. Black people, allies, anybody who's watching us, please understand, we need each other. This is something that we can do together that will make a difference. It doesn't feel like it's a big thing, but it's a thing that keeps our voices in the game. And as long as we have our voice, we have power. We have power. And so with that, do you have any other last parting words, ladies? I know I need to get my butt to the hotel. Black Women's Roundtable Summit. I'm on my way. I had to stop and do this to make sure that people understood what was going on, but I'm on my way. And I'll be broadcasting live in the morning to make sure that we get that. You don't have to worry about notification. Come right back here. I'm going to be right back on the same channel. In the morning, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to turn on my thing. I might look a little bit crazy or maybe not. Depends on whether or not I put these rollers in my hair tonight. And then we'll be ready to go. But we're going to make sure that folks know what's going on. Maybe I'll have a few of my Win with Black Women people show up with me. I'm not sure. I'm going to work on it. But just know we're going to be here. I'm thinking probably about 9:30, 10 o'clock. We're going to be here 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern, because we need all the people doing all the things until 1:15. We're going to try to make sure that folks know exactly what's happening. I appreciate y'all jumping on. I appreciate my co-host. Shout out to my co-hosts, especially my Win with Black Women sisters. We appreciate you. Let's make it happen. We can do this. We can make a change. Peace out, y'all.
the back of a cab in New York City, here in New York, where Chuck Schumer represents his constituents. And I came here this weekend for an event with Persist, which is run by an amazing black woman named Rhonda Fox, who is putting together the largest coalition of women to help save democracy. And I got to spend this wonderful week with amazing women such as Sunny Hostin, Diane von Furstenberg, and Gloria Steinem. And I'm forever reminded that it's always us who have to pick up the slack for stupid-ass men like Chuck Schumer. I cannot believe you are about to fold and actually vote on that continuing resolution. I thought we were very clear. Vote no on cloture. Vote no on that stupid continuing resolution that the GOP is putting forward. This is your last bit of leverage, Chuck. And I promise that I will make all the trips up to New York that I can to make sure that you lose your seat in the Senate if you don't get your shit together. So everybody, we're going to keep calling because they're going to vote tomorrow and the Democrats are trying to fold in the Senate. I thought y'all found your spines. What happened? Little jellyfish. What's going on? So 202-224-3121. 202-224-3121. And you're going to call your senator and you're going to demand that they vote no on cloture for this continuing resolution that's full of shit. And you're also going to make sure that you call Chuck Schumer, who is the minority leader, who's not leading very well, especially since he can't seem to find his fucking meds.